Celebrations are marking the Lunar New Year, the year of the ox, and that includes fireworks. Artists in China threw molten iron against a wall to create these effects. The pandemic, though, has again put a damper on most festivities. And in this country, what should be a celebratory time coincides with a disturbing surge of racist attacks against Asian Americans. Here's CBS's Nancy Chen.
This surveillance footage shows a 71-year-old Asian grandmother violently shoved to the ground, her purse stolen. Just one of several attacks in California's Bay Area recently. A 91-year-old man pushed in Oakland's Chinatown, one of 3 attacks that day. 84-year-old Thai American Visha Ratanapakdi knocked over while out for a walk. He died a few days later from his injuries. His family saying they believe it was rooted in racism.
This guy should not be let up back on the street. He should be charged with murder. If you see the video, there's nothing non-intentional about it.
Asian American leaders say these attacks are a trend, not isolated incidents.
What we are seeing is just the tip of the iceberg of what is actually happening in the communities.
John Yang is the president of Asian Americans Advancing Justice and blames, in part, anti-Asian rhetoric surrounding the pandemic.
The Asian American community has been faced with effectively 2 pandemics. The first is the COVID-19 pandemic, but the second pandemic that we have faced is also a virus. It's a virus of racism that we have faced.
Asian Americans Advancing Justice has cited at least 3,000 anti-Asian incidents since last February. In New York City, there was an 867% increase in Asian hate crime victims in 2020 compared to the year before. NYPD has created a hate crimes task force.
Hello.
And police in Oakland's Chinatown are stepping up patrols to reassure business owners and families.
We wanted our business owners in our community to know that we care, that we're concerned, and that we're going to do everything we can to keep this community safe.
Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
The surge in hate crimes against Asian Americans only getting worse, and some of the accounts are extremely violent.
And when the door opened, he stepped forward and slashed me. Then I put my hand on my face, and then when I look at my hands, there's blood oozing. So I cried for help, and I cried for help, but nobody helped.
In a 12-day period, there were 18 incidents of violence committed against Asian individuals, many of whom were seniors.
The spike in violence forcing the Alameda County District Attorney to form a special response unit. Hollywood stars like Daniel Day Kim and Daniel Wu are also speaking out, using their fame to raise awareness and donate funds to organizations that fight hate.
We're here for attention to the situation and address the issue.
We need to do more as Asian Americans to voice our concerns and speak up, and we also cannot allow ourselves to be silenced.
Advocates say these attacks became more prevalent after former President Trump began routinely using racist language to describe the pandemic.
The China virus, or I like the plague from China.
A UN report found there were more than 1,800 racist incidents against Asian Americans from March to May of last year. After taking office, President Biden last month signing an executive order with new Justice Department guidance on how to specifically report anti-Asian hate incidents.
I'm directing federal agencies to combat resurgence of xenophobia, particularly against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders.
What else needs to be done beyond this executive order?
A lot of it stems around education, so that we don't see Asian Americans as foreigners. We don't see them as the other.
Does this get better in your view?
All of us galvanizing together, creating allyship, and just recognizing these issues within our own country is a step forward. We got to keep hopeful.
Now, as you can imagine, these attacks, along with others and all of the attention on social media now, have raised the fear and anxiety levels in Chinatowns across the country. The Alameda County District Attorney tells me the Bay Area will see increased police presence this weekend for that important Lunar New Year celebration.
Hey, we're seeing a rise in Asian American hate crimes in this country, and the most recent to make the news has been in San Francisco. Police are investigating another attack on an Asian American person in Northern California.
The video was taken at a laundromat near San Francisco's Chinatown on February 23rd. 3 suspects ambushed the 67-year-old man, dragging him to the ground. They kicked and beat him while looking for his wallet. Police say the robbers made off with several $100s. Locally, a movement called Asians with Attitudes has been formed to combat the rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans. Young volunteers are conducting foot patrols in neighborhoods where people of Asian ancestry have been targeted.
The troubling attacks continue everywhere. This gutsy 75-year-old woman gave an alleged attacker a lot more than he bargained for. She says she fought back with that stick after this guy punched her in the face for no reason in San Francisco.
From what I could see, she wanted more of the guy on the stretcher. Police were holding her back.
This Asian man was attacked in a San Francisco laundromat. This travel agent was beaten up for no reason during his lunch break at a street corner. Look at his eyes. Now blind in one eye, he's raising money on GoFundMe to help pay his medical expenses. This angry exchange took place in New York.
Did you just say, go back to China, bitch? Is that what you said?
You are assaulting me!
No, man. A woman in a taxi is accused of telling an Asian American to go back to China.
Say that again. He's like, communist China?
Oh, isn't that where you're from?
No, it's not.
The real surprise came when the identity of the woman in the taxi cab was revealed. Turns out she's the daughter of the late United States Senator from New York, the legendary Daniel Patrick Moynihan. He's so highly regarded, this new $1.6 billion train station, Moynihan Train Hall, was named after him. Maura Moynihan, a human rights activist, says the incident was a dispute over a cab and denies hurling racist remarks. She also denies the dispute stemmed from anti-Asian sentiment. I've devoted most of my life to working with and for Asian people, she says in a statement.